Olive is an ostrich. She lives with her family in the outback. But Olive is very different. Olive's dad loves to run. Olive isn't a fast runner. Olive's mum enjoys laying huge eggs. Olive doesn't like the look of that at all. Olive's little brother pecks at the ground to find tasty roots to eat. Pecking at the ground makes Olive sneeze. But Olive has an incredible imagination. So while the rest of her family are running, pecking and laying eggs, Olive can be found imagining herself going on amazing adventures when she buries her head down, down into the sand. Until she popped up somewhere new. Olive was standing on the deck of a huge wooden sailing ship in the middle of the sea.
Okay, look at all that water.
Ahoy there!
Olive saw a cat wearing a dashing outfit and a sailor's hat.
Welcome aboard. I'm Captain Chris Columbus, the most famous explorer in all of the 7 seas.
Hello, my name's Olive. I've never met a famous explorer before.
Olive, you don't have any food on you, do you? Me and my crew are absolutely starving.
Olive turned around to see a chubby bulldog and a Jack Russell.
Oh, hello.
These are my trusty shipmates, Bully the cook and Master Jack Russell, the deckhand.
We're really hungry.
Complained Jack.
I'm sorry. What happened to all your food?
A few days ago, we sailed through a terrible storm. An enormous wave washed all our food overboard, along with my map of the 7 seas.
Now we're down to our very last tiny piece of stale bread,
Said Bully sadly.
Oh dear, that's not going to fill you up.
Said Olive.
And without my map, we're lost and can't find our way back home.
I'm not very good with maps and directions, but maybe I can find you something to eat.
Olive looked at Bully's vest and Jack's mop.
A mop? A string vest? I think I may have an idea.
Olive tugged on a loose end of Bully's vest. It unravelled into a long piece of string, which she tied to the end of the mop.
Oh, what's that for?
Asked the confused Captain Chris.
It's a fishing rod. We can use it to catch fish for dinner. I just need something to get the fish to bite.
Olive spotted the last scrap of bread in the basket. She tied it to the end of the fishing line and threw it in the water. Oh! Cried the crew.
Our last scrap of bread.
You'll just have to wait.
So they waited, and they waited. All their tummies rumbled because they were so hungry. After what seemed like ages, there was a tug on the line. Olive pulled a massive fish out of the sea.
Hooray for Olive!
Hooray!
Cheered the crew. Olive caught fish after fish and all sorts of other tasty sea creatures. Then, suddenly, Olive felt one almighty tug.
Oh, help!
The crew all grabbed hold of the rod and together they pulled out a huge whale who immediately sneezed and from its blowhole gushed a spout of seawater with a map on top.
My map! Now we're no longer lost. Let's celebrate.
Woohoo!
So Bully cooked the biggest fishy feast ever. They ate and ate until they could eat no more.
Would you like any dessert, Olive? Jellyfish and ice cream?
Oh, no, thank you. Just the thought of it makes me feel all wobbly.
Everyone laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Egg? Actually, I've been sailing on the high seas.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was standing in a big room wearing a silver hat and a costume.
Egg? This is a sparkly costume, but where am I?
Olive could see lots of interesting objects. There was a table with a top hat, a rabbit and playing cards on it. And next to the table was a tall cabinet with a door in the front. Suddenly, from behind the cabinet, a little man appeared, holding a magic wand. He was peering at the cabinet very closely.
Oh, what's wrong with this trick?
Muttered the man.
Excuse me, can I help at all?
Oh, who are you? Did you appear out of thin air?
I'm Olive. I suppose I did.
I'm Hey Presto, Master Magician. Things magically appear out of thin air around here all the time. For example...
Hey Presto reached behind Olive's head and pulled out a red hanky, attached to a blue hanky, attached to a yellow hanky. Soon he had pulled out a huge long rope of hankies.
Ta-da!
Dick, that was an amazing trick.
Thank you, Olive. Problem is, though, I've been having lots of trouble with this trick. My magic cabinet.
What sort of trouble?
I keep losing my magician's assistants in it. They climb inside, I wave my wand and say Abracadabra. And when the door opens, they've completely disappeared.
Sounds like another amazing trick to me.
But I can't get them to appear again.
Wailed Hey Presto.
Oh, I've already lost 5 assistants this week. You must be the new assistant I ordered, but I don't want to lose you as well.
Where could they all have gone?
Wondered Olive. Then she spotted the long rope of hankies.
A rope of hankies? A magic cabinet? I think I may have an idea. Hey, Presto, could you tie one end of the hanky rope to my wing?
Of course.
OK, I'll get in the cabinet and you make me disappear. The hanky rope will mean that wherever I go, you can pull me back again.
Excellent idea. Just give the rope a tug when you want me to pull you back.
Olive stepped into the cabinet and Hey Presto closed the door. He tapped on the cabinet with his magic wand and said,
Abracadabra!
Suddenly, a trap door opened underneath Olive and she fell straight down a long chute. She finally dropped onto a huge pile of cushions. Olive looked up and saw she was in a little room. Sitting around on chairs were lots of magician's assistants.
Hello there. You must be the missing magician's assistants.
Yes, we are.
Said one.
Some of us have been down here for ages. It's very boring, but at least there's a machine selling fizzy drinks and crisps.
Well, I'm here to rescue you. I need all of you to hold hands in a line and one of you to hold on to my wing.
Once they were all holding hands, Olive called up the chute.
Hey, Presto!
Hey Presto started pulling up the rope, and soon Olive and all the magician's assistants were being hauled up the chute together. Finally, they reached the top. Hey Presto pulled Olive and all the missing assistants out of the cabinet.
Oh, well, now I have more assistants than I know what to do with. Thanks so much, Olive.
That's okay. You'll soon have one less. It's probably time I disappeared anyway.
They all laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Okay. Actually, I've been a disappearing magician's assistant.
Your head's been in the sun too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was wearing a white shirt, a black suit jacket and a bow tie. She was in a huge kitchen. Chefs in tall white hats running around, one using a large metal spoon to ladle soup out of a huge steaming pot, and another icing a big cake with a piping bag.
Egg? This is a really busy place.
She could hear someone smashing plates, and she went off to see what was happening. She noticed a rosy-cheeked manager surrounded by broken plates.
Oh, hello.
Said Olive.
Ah, bonjour, mademoiselle.
Said the manager.
My name's not Mademoiselle, it's Olive. Pleased to meet you. Are you okay?
I'm Pierre Petitpois, and it is the opening night of my restaurant Le Mange Tout.
Well, that's great.
Exclaimed Olive.
Oui, but the head waiter has not turned up, and the famous food critic Monsieur Le Croc is coming. How am I going to serve everyone their food on my own? C'est impossible.
Oh, dear. Well, I could help you. But you'll need to show me what to do.
said Olive.
What a magnifique idea.
So Pierre showed Olive how to serve like a real waitress. She had to hold a tray with one hand, pour grape juice into a glass with another, meanwhile serving the finest sausage and mashed potato with 2 silver spoons,
Oh, heck. I'm not sure I'm very good at this.
said Olive.
Oh, quel dommage. This will never work. We need to go faster.
Faster?
Thought Olive. Just then, Olive remembered all the equipment from the kitchen.
A silver ladle? A piping bag? I think I may have an idea.
Olive went to fetch the 2 items from the kitchen.
When it's time to serve the food, you hold up the customer's plates and I'll catapult the sausage and mashed potato onto them. Then I'll squirt the grape juice from the piping bag into the glasses. We should be able to serve them all in no time.
Olive, this idea is fantastic.
Very soon, the restaurant was full of hungry customers. So Olive and Pierre got to work, catapulting, catching, aiming and squirting. The food critic, Monsieur Le Croc, had arrived and was sitting, waiting for his dinner. It was all going so well until Olive began to serve the food a little too fast and Pierre couldn't keep up,
Olive, you must slow down.
warned Pierre.
Or something bad is going to...
But before he could finish, Olive catapulted the mashed potato into the food critic Monsieur Le Croc's face and the sausage into his mouth. The whole restaurant fell silent.
Monsieur Le Croc, I'm ever so sorry. Are you okay?
Monsieur Le Croc didn't move for a second. Then he took a big bite of his sausage and licked his lips.
Magnifique. I have never seen service like it. I award Le Mange Tout the highest honor, la golden fork.
Pierre could not believe it.
Oh, mademoiselle, you saved the day.
All in a day's work, Pierre. But my name's Olive.
They both laughed. And as they did, Olive realized it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Heck, actually, I've been a waitress in the finest French restaurant.
Your head's been in the sun too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was under a table. She could just see a little man wearing checked trousers shuffling around and could hear pots and pans banging about.
Okay, I think I'm in the kitchen.
Olive jumped out to say hello.
Hello?
Said Olive a bit too loudly. The little man jumped and spilled all the flour he had in his mixing bowl onto the floor.
Oh, hey, you made me a jump, and now my pizza mix is ruined.
Oh dear, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. My name is Luigi, and this is my famous pizza restaurant.
I'm Olive. You seem really busy.
Today is a very special day. It's the pizza competition. I must win it again this year, and the judges will be here soon.
Maybe I could help you make the pizza.
Si, great idea, Olive.
Olive and Luigi got to work.
Like this.
Luigi showed her how to whirl the pizza in the air to make it big and round. It was going well until Olive lost control of the whirling pizza and it shot across the kitchen, hit the fan in the corner, and pieces of dough went everywhere.
Oh, no.
Cried Luigi.
Now we'll never make the pizza in time. Even if I could make the base, we'll never be able to chop up all the pizza toppings.
A fan? Some pizza toppings? I think I may have an idea. We can use the fan to quickly chop all the ingredients.
It's worth a try.
Luigi rolled out a new pizza base in double quick time. Olive picked up the ingredients they needed for the topping. She juggled with the tomatoes first, then threw them towards the fan. The fan whizzed and slices of tomato flew through the air towards Luigi, who caught some on his pizza, although a few ended up stuck to the walls, the floor and the ceiling. Next, Olive and Luigi did the same with a sausage. And finally, a banana. Luigi caught them all perfectly and popped the finished pizza into the oven. It was nearly time for the judges to arrive. and the pizza was ready just in time. The judges all looked very excited to be eating Luigi's delicious pizza, and Olive was sure he would win the prize again. Olive carried the pizza over on a special silver plate. But just as she was about to serve the pizza, she slipped on a piece of tomato. She slipped over, sending the pizza sailing high up into the air. Olive skidded and bumped across the floor, finishing right in front of the judges. A moment later, the pizza landed right on her head. The judges did not look impressed. Olive had to think quickly.
Pizza is served, and it's called Olive Surprise.
For a moment, the judges looked very serious, but then they burst out laughing. They ate some slices of pizza and decided it was wonderful. Luigi was awarded a special prize for the most exciting pizza ever.
Thank you so much, Olive. You saved the day.
That's okay, Luigi. Maybe I can get a free pizza next time I come in.
Of course.
They both laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Actually, I helped Luigi make an Olive surprise.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive found herself in a room with shelves and worktops piled high with mounds of dust. She was wearing an apron decorated with pictures of violins, cellos and bassoons.
This place could do with a spot of dusting.
Just then, two smiling woodworms popped their head out of a dust pile.
Oh, hello.
Said Olive. The woodworms vanished before popping up from another dust pile.
My, you're both quick on your feet. I mean, tummies.
Before either worm had a chance to reply, whoosh! A large net fell over them, sending clouds of dust up into the air. The dust made Olive cough.
Did I get them? Yeah? No? Missed them again.
As the dust cleared, she found herself face to face with a tall wolf wearing an apron just like hers.
Hello, I am Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, instrument maker to the king. This is my workshop.
I'm Olive. Nice to meet you, Wolfgang. But, I don't see any instruments.
This was a cello. This was a violin. And this was a bassoon to be played at the king's birthday concert tonight.
Oh, I don't think you'll get much sound out of those instruments.
This I know. It's those woodworm. As soon as I make any instrument from wood, they eat it. See? If I don't make the bassoon for the king's birthday concert tonight, he will be very upset. You must help me, Olive.
Olive thought hard.
Well, if the woodworm only like to eat wood, maybe you could make a bassoon out of something else.
But what?
Olive looked around at things in the workshop.
A vacuum cleaner, a bicycle pump. I think I may have an idea.
With Wolfgang's help, Olive used the vacuum cleaner's bendy pipe to form the body of the bassoon. Then they used the top of the bicycle pump as its mouthpiece.
Finished!
Now to see how it sounds, yeah?
Wolfgang placed his lips to the bicycle pump mouthpiece and blow.
Is that how a bassoon is supposed to sound, Wolfgang?
Wolfgang stopped playing and shook his head.
No, that sounded terrible.
Just then, Olive remembered how the woodworm had reacted to the sound.
Those greedy woodworm didn't like the noise the bassoon made either. Wolfgang, you start to make your new wooden bassoon for the king's birthday concert. I think I know how I can keep those woodworm away.
Olive blew into the bassoon as she marched up and down. The woodworm couldn't stand the noise, and soon they wiggled away. And at last, Wolfgang finished making what would be his finest wooden bassoon.
Perfect. Thank you, Olive. Without your help, the concert would have been a disaster. Would you like to come as my guest?
I think I've heard enough bassoons for one day, thank you.
They both laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Okay. Actually, I helped make a bassoon for a king.
Your head's been in the sun too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was standing in the middle of a large field with white lines painted on it. There was a net across the middle. She was wearing a little white skirt and a sun visor. Close by, two very tired-looking giraffes sat on a bench. Olive was about to walk over and talk to the giraffes when all of a sudden a ball went flying past her head, followed by another and another.
Oh, please stop. You're going to hit me.
Sorry, man, I didn't see you there.
Olive saw a curly-haired toad wearing white shorts and holding a racket.
I'm John McIntoad, and I'm trying to train for an important match, but my training partners Virginia and Wade are too tired to play.
Oh, I'm Olive. If Virginia and Wade are too tired, maybe I can help you train.
Well, sure. Do you play tennis?
I don't even know what tennis is.
You cannot be serious. This is a tennis court. This is my tennis racket. Surely everyone knows what tennis is.
I'm afraid not. Will you teach me?
Sure, I guess I could. First you need a racket like mine. It's what you use to hit the ball.
John gave Olive a lovely pink racket from his bag.
Now you go down to that end, and when I hit the tennis ball over the net to you, you try and hit it back, okay?
Olive swung her racket a couple of times to get ready. John threw the ball high above his head and hit it over the net. It was going so fast, Olive couldn't reach it in time. John tried again and again, but each time he hit the ball so hard that Olive couldn't hit it back. Then John smashed the ball really hard. It whizzed over the net and hit Olive right on the wing, making her spin around. Into the net, feathers flying everywhere.
I've broken the net.
Exclaimed Olive. John McIntoad ran over and stuck a long strip of sticky plaster on Olive's wing.
Don't worry about the net. I hope I haven't hurt you, Olive.
Oh, no, I'm fine, John. But I'm afraid I haven't given you much tennis practice.
Olive looked around and suddenly thought of something.
Some feathers, a ball, some sticky plasters. I think I may have an idea.
Olive picked up one of the balls and carefully started to stick feathers to the ball with the sticky plasters. Next, she asked Virginia and Wade to hold up the net.
Oh, that's a bit higher than before.
Once the net was in position, John tossed the feather-covered ball above his head and hit it over the net. With the feathers on it, the ball was now going slower and Olive could reach it. She hit the ball back this time to John.
This is what we call a rally,
said John, hitting the ball back to Olive. Olive and John hit the ball back and forth, high and low, fast and slow. They played the tennis rally all afternoon until eventually John hit the ball too low and it landed in the net.
Ugh, I think that's enough practice for one day,
said John, breathing heavily and looking exhausted.
Thanks for the game, although I'm not sure I'm really very good at tennis.
Well, you were amazing at featherball. You've invented a whole new game.
Have I? Oh, let's hope it doesn't catch on. I don't want to lose any more feathers.
They both laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Actually, I invented a new game called Featherball.
Your head's been in the sun too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure.